All's well, sir.
Madam?
Sir, heartiest congratulations for ICF, sir.
Very good. I posted it so that every one of you will come up with one such a proposal.
No, but then it's a great feat to have ICF under it, sir. I think it's a very big achievement.
We'll be having very shortly some more establishments. We are trying Southern Railway, Central Railway.
I think ICF itself was quite huge, but Southern Railways, I think, will be a real tall order. But if we get it, nothing like it, sir.
We are trying Southern Railway Central, Dr. MGR Central Railway Station to be a E-trade station. That is how they are cooperating.
Yes, sir. Great, sir.
So we are planning more such campuses to be certified under E-trade India. Why I posted in this NetProfund group? So NetProfund members can think of, because every one of you might be having some link with some organization, government or private, small or big. So if we push for such things, definitely it will help us in creating awareness about use E-trade India.
Sure, sir.
So how many? We'll be starting by 10 or
I think that's what they've planned, sir. Sharp 10 o'clock they'll start, sir.
Let us know. Nothing to be in hurry. Suppose if we want to have sufficient number of participants, as of now 42 participants are there. Let us see if they are sufficient enough. We'll start. Otherwise, we can delay by 5 minutes also. I don't have any objection, provided the management of SDG College should be comfortable. Because some institutions is very particular that punctuality should be strictly maintained. So I leave it to them.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, good morning. I welcome Dr. Usha Antony, ma'am. Thank you for joining, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Vijaya. Thank you.
Ma'am, we'll wait for a few minutes and we'll start the session, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning, ma'am. Dr. Usha, I'm not seeing any videos. So I'm very much not met for many days. How are you, madam? How is your health?
Fine, sir. Thank you. How are you?
Very, very fine.
Yeah, with this pandemic, we are not able to meet at all.
I was told by Dr. Vijaya only this is going to be a physical event, offline event. That's why we are reporting to 31st. But I was surprised to receive a link yesterday. I was prepared to come down to the college.
Sir, actually, we planned this a month ahead, so we were not sure about the situation actually. So we don't want to take risk, and we made it as an online event, sir. So from next academic year, we'll do everything in offline.
Not wrong. You told me that you are pre-coming because of this physical event.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, it's good that in virtual mode we will meet everybody. Because for some it may be difficult to come down to home page.
True, sir. True. Yes.
Dr. Joshita has not joined.
Sir, she'll be joining in a few seconds, sir.
morning, Muthumaran sir.
Very, very good morning. Welcome. So, how are you, madam? So, Dr. Vishnu, I hope you are comfortably settling down at Bangalore with
Yes,
very good climate in comparison to Delhi.
Yes.
Really cool. Really nice.
Good morning to all. We'll start the session. Our students are joining. Let them join, ma'am. We'll start the session, ma'am. And people are watching in YouTube also, ma'am. So we'll start the session as per the schedule, ma'am.
Try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of values, says Albert Einstein. A warm welcome and a very good morning to everyone present here. Respected Madam Principal, Vice Principal, Aided and Self-Finance Stream, invited guest speakers, the head of the department, professors, and my dear friends. I, Farhana, extend a warm welcome you all on behalf of PG Department of Home Science, Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics, SDNB Vaishnav College for Women, in association with Food Safety and Standard Authority of India and Network of Professionals of Food and Nutrition, Chennai chapter, to the one-day national webinar on our blueprint to achieve good health and well-being, Sustainable Development Goals 3. As said by Charles Spurgeon, true prayer is neither a mere mental exercise nor a vocal performance. It is far deeper than that. It is a spiritual transaction with the creator of heaven and earth. Let us begin our program with the blessings of Almighty. Please join us for the college prayer.
Satyavritam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya yonim nihitam cha satye Satyasya satyam Hrita satyanetram Satyatmakam Tvam sharanam Prapannaha Vani gunanukatane Shravanau kataya Hastau cha karmasu Manastava padayonaha Smrityam shirastava Nivasa jagat praname Drishti sada Darshanestu bhavattanuna Namo bhagavate tasmai Krishnaya Buddha karmane Rupanama vibedena Rupanama vibedena Jagat kridati yoyataha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
I now request everyone to join for lighting of virtual Kutuvilakku. Thank you, Soumya. I would like to call upon our respected head of the department, Dr. Mrs. Renu Agarwal, ma'am, to deliver welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Thanks, dear. Very good morning to all. I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of PG Department of Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics. I feel honored to have FSSI and NetProf and Chennai chapter as co-host of this webinar on our blueprint to achieve both good health and well-being. I welcome our eminent speakers, Mr. P. Muthumaran, Director, Southern Region FSSI, Dr. Usha Anthony, Dean, College of Fish Nutrition and Food Technology, Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj, Netrof and Convener, Dr. Joshita Lambasaini, Deputy Lead, Fortification Division FSSI. We are grateful to have them for accepting our invitation. I would like to welcome and extend my gratitude towards our management, Principal Ma'am Dr. Arpita, Self-Support, Dr. Shita S. Vice Principal, Self-Support, Shift 1, Dr. Maisha Suramardani, for their support and guidance given to us whenever we need. Before we begin the program, I would like to welcome and express my heartfelt gratitude to teaching, non-teaching staff and students of the department who are sincerely committed to this event. It would have been impossible without the support of each and every one of them. I am happy to note that this webinar covers a wide range of the topic and wish you all a very fruitful and successful program. Once again, warm welcome to one and all present here. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am, for your sweet and well-knit words of welcome. I would like to call upon our respected Vice Principal, Madam, Dr.
Good morning to one and all present here. Happy to be a part of this national webinar on blueprint to achieve good health and well-being. On behalf of the management principal, I welcome our honored inaugural guest, Mr. P. Muthumaran, Director, Southern Region, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. I also welcome Dr. Usha Anthony, Dean, College of Fish Nutrition and Food Technology, Tamil Nadu, Dr. J. Jayalalitha Fisheries University. I extend my warm welcome to Dr. Meenakshi, Dietitian, Tamil Nadu, Government, Multi-Super Speciality, Net Pro Pan, Convener, Chennai Chapter, and I also welcome Dr. Joshika Lamba Sanya, Deputy Lead, Fortification Division, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. I once again welcome you all for this national webinar. I congratulate the department for taking efforts in organizing this seminar. Hope you all will be enriched with knowledge after the completion of this seminar. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. M.S. Lekha, ma'am, to address the gathering.
A very good morning to all gathered here. My warm greetings to the Postgraduate Department of Home Science, Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics, to the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, and Network of Professionals of Food and Nutrition Chennai chapter. My warm welcome and my best wishes to all the resource persons of today's webinar who have really consented to present their views regarding this national webinar. And the topic goes, blueprint to achieve good health and well-being, the Sustainable Development Goal number 3. Now, belonging to the economic discipline, I would like to touch upon these two words, that is good health and well-being. Permit me to just move about with some of my views in this discipline. Now, regarding these two words, good health and well-being, I think most of us take it for granted in our day-to-day life. Now, good health indicates the achievement of the physical, mental, and social state of mind, which will eventually lead to our human happiness. That's what they say. And well-being will indicate the attainment of human efficiency, which enhances our human productivity. And that alone will show the path of economic progress. Now, Indian economy is actually very obediently trying to attain all the sustainable development goals, which are 17 in number. However, the number 2 and number 3 sustainable development goal is the most heart-wrenching one, and it is very, very difficult to achieve it. So, in this context, I would like to congratulate the organizers for thinking about the blueprint to achieve good health and well-being. And my heartfelt appreciation for that. Now, in India, when you look at the Indian economy, it is trying to capitalize on our demographic dividend, which is going to stay for a large number of years, quite a number of years. And the success of this demographic dividend will depend upon how we utilize our human resource and to what level they are productive enough. Now, that once again will narrow down and boil down to the good health and the well-being of each and every Indian. And that is my anxiety. And I would really like to congratulate the organizers for choosing this wonderful topic. And I know how important and serious it is enough. And I hope our student fraternity really understands the seriousness of this entire issue. And a very healthy morning once again to all of you all. And my warm wishes and best wishes to each one of you all. And I'm sure this national webinar, it is going to really light up all our lives. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and have a healthy and a bright day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for an excellent introduction. Now we'll move on to a department preview.
The organizing committee would like to present a short video about the PG Department of Home Science, Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics. The Department of MSc Home Science, Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics was established in the year 2018 with the motto of empowering our students to be influential leaders in the industry of nutrition, dietetics and food science. This is the pioneering department to offer this postgraduate degree under Madras University. The primary objective of this course is to integrate theoretical knowledge and its practical application in the fields of food science and nutritional science. Now, I would like to call upon Ms. Sharmila, first MSc FSND, to give a brief introduction about respected inaugural address speaker, Mr. P. Muthumaran sir, to the gathering.
I would like to welcome Mr. P. Muthumaran sir, Director of Food Safety and Standard Authority of India. He is a graduate in agriculture and postgraduate in agricultural marketing management from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. And he has an experience of about 25 years. Out of 25 years, 5 years were spent in the private industry, and for 7 years, sir was working with Food Corporation of India in various capacities. Since May 2017, Mr. P. Muthumaran sir was working in FSSAI as Director in Western Region with additional charge of Southern Region also. From May 2019, he was working as full-time Director of Southern Region, FSSI at Chennai.
Thank you, Sharmila. Now, I would like to call upon our chief guest, Mr. P. Muthumaran sir, Director, Southern Region, Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, to deliver the inaugural address. Sir, please.
Very good morning to everyone. I hope I am audible. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible and your audio is clear also. Please proceed.
I thank and congratulate the management, the principal, in the PG Department of Home Science, Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics, and the NetPref and Chennai chapter, and the conveners, co-conveners, and the organizing secretary of this program, Dr. Vijay, and my esteemed fellow panelist, Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj, Dr. Usha Anthony, and Dr. Jessica Lamba, and dear students, staff members, and all the participants in the program. I welcome you all and very good morning to everyone. I really thank you for organizing such a program on this particular occasion, post COVID-19 situation. We have all recovered, and we are also in the crucial period of this SDG achievement period that is set out from 2020 to 2030. So the SDGs have been declared, adopted by UN in the year 2015 with a target period of 2020 to 2030 as a period in which targets will be on the even achieved. So today's topic is on the blueprint to achieve good health and well-being. This is the SDG goal 3. So make it more relevant and comprehensive, easy to understand. I'll take you through this few slides, very few slides I will use, because in an inaugural speech I cannot bombard with slides. As you all know, Sustainable Development Goals are 17. Today we are focusing on good health and well-being. That's the SDG-3. As your Vice Principal said, it is related to one another, especially to 0-100. From food safety and balanced nutrition point of view, we link it all together with 1, 2, 3, 12. All together we take it in our target as custodian of food safety and balanced nutrition for the citizens of the country. Food Safety Standards Authority of India focuses on these 4 SDGs out of 17. But the Sustainable Development Goals, or known as global goals, are interlinked, not can be viewed standalone goals or are interlinked. So the goals are designed to achieve, blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. Not only good health and well-being, all these 17 goals are having certain purpose and interlinking dependence, so that overall achievement of better and more sustained future for all the citizens, all the global citizens, not only for the citizens of India. That's why we are focusing on the SDGs, even though we conduct this program in India. As I said, the 17 goals are interlinked, and today's discussion on good health and well-being is also linked to a specific SDG-2, that is addressing causes and consequences of all forms of malnutrition. See, health and well-being arises out of more than one factor, but food and nutrition is very, very important, like hygiene and physical activity, the environment, everything where we all live in the world. So the SDG-3 is closely interlinked. That's where the Food Safety Standards Authority of India is very relevant here, that we would like to address this good health and well-being requirement through addressing the causes and consequences of all forms of malnutrition, which you will come to know from my esteemed colleague who is here, Dr. Jessica Lamba, who will talk at length about the Eat India movement, and Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj, who will talk about the non-communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, for which the food and nutrition also forms a part of us. And Dr. Usha Anthony will talk about the diet diversification. It is also part of it. All the 3 panel speakers will touch upon what FSSI has envisaged in its program called Eat Right India Initiative. Part of this Eat Right Initiative is inclusive of diet diversification, addressing non-communicable diseases by addressing causes and consequences by nutrition needs, and also other related activities and healthy practices through food safety and healthy diet to achieve the SDG-3 through SDG-2. So SDG-3 have set of targets, and very important, one of the target is that reducing the premature mortality from non-communicable diseases through prevention and treatment. Prevention and treatment, that's what I would like to highlight. Nutrition is one part to prevent all sorts of non-communicable diseases, not necessarily in premature mortality in every sphere, because good health and well-being is linked in many ways with the nutrition. So what's the need for a nutrition to achieve this SDG-3? I would like to bring here from the, even though we have got the data of 2021, I am taking it 5 years back to the 2018 data where we stood, because it was the period of National Family Health Survey 4 results just out. So the SDG is focusing on health and well-being, but this health and well-being primarily focuses on how the citizens or the citizens of different age group are living well, they get the nutrition or good drinking water, environment, etc. As far as nutrition is concerned, the situation was worse. That 195 million Indians were undernourished in 2018. Whether there is any improvement in 2021, I will come to that. NFSH is 5. So this global hunger index, what it was found in 2018, still placing the India among the 119 or sometimes maybe 3 or 4 countries up and down. Still we are at 101 in 2021. So our position has not improved much, and we have entered into the phase of achieving SDG target achievement, that the decade of achievement of targets set in SDGs, that is 2022-2030, because target period for SDG achievement, target achievement is 2030, but the trial starts from, countdown starts from 2020 itself, because it's a decade-long target achievement plan. But still, we are in a very, very, very poor nutritional level countries among the world. Even though GHI score has improved in the last 2 decades from around 39% score to, it has come to 27.5. That is, we can say, serious. We have come out of from the extreme end, risky or highly risky, to the serious condition. But still, we are in the middle, yet to achieve a very safer level as far as global hunger index score is concerned. In the last 20 years, 2 decades, we have improved, but still we are far below the developed nations, or even some of the developing nation peers. Still we are lagging behind. So go to the indicators level again. I am talking about global hunger index. The third line drawing here, trends of a trend for indicator values India. This is drawn from global hunger index. If you look at the 4 parameters, very vital parameters, performance indicators. If you look at prevalence of stunting and the under 5 mortality rate may have come down in the last 20 years significantly, we can say, still not in a very comfortable state. But if you look at the proportion of undernourished and wasting children, that means children who are maybe sufficient height but they are underweight, that their structure is very thin, malnutrition, then undernourished population of all age group, that this global hunger index is drawn from the data collected in India, supplied by us. So this having correlation with what the indicators we have found in National Family Health Survey 5. If you look at the children aged 6 to 59 months who are anemic, 67.1%. In the last 6-7 years, when National Family Health Survey 4 results were out, the situation has worsened, not as improved. If you look at that data, you will find 2-3% of increase in the children of age 6 to 59 months who are anemic. So we have not improved. This has been further complicated by COVID situation because of the employment opportunities deprived to the marginalized section. Most of the children only become and middle income group or lower middle income group. Then again, in case of non-pregnant women between the age of 15 to 49, it is 57.2. Again, there are 2-3% of worsening, no improvement. Same in case of pregnant women. Same in case of all women category. Same in case of the men between the age of 15 to 40, but men are better with 25%. Whereas women, if you say 57%, I round it up to 60%. 6 out of 10 women are vulnerable in the category of 15 to 14 in age group. They are the vital age group of women in the country. Apart from that, one indicator which is not listed here, this is about the nutrition, malnutrition, anemia. On the other hand, the obesity, which is caused by the higher supply of fat, sugar, as well as carbohydrate. So if you look at obesity level, again, in case of women, it's worsened by 3%. In case of men, it's worsened by 4%. If you compare the data of NRH 4. So what it indicates, 1 out of 5 women, 1 out of 4 men are obese. You look around your surrounding, if the female members are there, 1 out of 5 will be obese. In case of male, 1 out of 4 will be obese. That is, in 100 people, 25 men are obese. In 100 people, 20 women are obese. So obesity is very big cause for the non-communicable diseases. You all know high fat, salt, sugar contributes. Sugar including carbohydrate, fat is including oil, high salt food. All these things causes somewhat non-communicable diseases. Apart from that, the sugar and fat causes the obesity. So if you look at that, malnutrition and undernutrition is causing great health. So in order to achieve the health and well-being, you have to moderate your consumption. The consumption should be balanced. You should have a balanced diet in your day-to-day approach. Every one of us may be knowing in the educated segment the importance of lower sugar, lower salt, lower oil. Everyone is conscious. But are we able to control ourselves? It's very difficult. The discipline happens. Because there is a lack of culture. That's what I'm saying. It should be part of our life. You get up in the morning, autonomously you pick up your brush and brush your teeth, wash your face, and then you proceed the day. But throughout the day, you are very conscious of your appearance. You are very conscious of your appetite. But are these things are balanced in such a way? Throughout the life, you will be enjoying with a good health and wellness. Absolutely not. Every one of us beyond the age group of 30 will hear from at least 5 out of 10 people will be having any one of complications. Slightly raised blood sugar, slightly risky blood sugar, diabetic risk, or hypertension risk, or the problems like back pain or knee pain, whatever may be the cause. That's all because of the lack of awareness. That's why FSSI has taken upon itself to work upon this SDG goals 1, 2, 3, and 12 interwoven with the regulatory framework and provisions as also mandated in the new Food Safety Standards Act 2006, that FSSI should also take up itself creating awareness about the food safety and balanced nutrition, designed the program called Eat Right India Movement. It's a system approach towards balanced food and nutrition. It was unveiled on 150th birth anniversary of Father of Nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and we unveiled a new language of food and nutrition with this program. This program comprises of three pillars: eat safe, eat right, eat sustainability to achieve health and wellness for a healthy, happy life. Each pillar will have different approaches, activities, and the purpose of each safe pillar is to improve the personal surrounding hygiene, sanitation in food value chain, combating adulteration, eliminate toxic residues in food, prevent hazardous use of cooking oil again and again, reuse without discarding it, and eating right through balanced life, diversification. That's what Dr. Usha Anthony is going to speak about. Eliminate industrial trans fat, reduce salt, sugar, and saturated fat. Eat fortified samples, say staples that may be the part of talk to be given by Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj, and eat sustainable, including eat safe, right, Dr. initiatives. Dr. Joshida will talk how and what initiatives are taken to ensure people are aware about eating safe, eating right, and eating sustainable, because local food are very rich in the nutritive and easily available in fresh form. So they are all seasonal but very sustainable. You can get easily accessible. And wasting of food also causes lot of lost resources, not only to the needy, also we spend a lot of water, human hours, and resources to produce food. If it is wasted, it cannot be recovered. So food wastage is dual crime. That is, one is damaging the nature and resources, depleting the resources. On the other hand, you are depriving the needy people. So similarly, how to reduce and recycle plastics, which causes the environment, and when you are using it for the purpose of serving food, how to sustainably use it. Similarly, water conserving, food processing technologies that the FSSAI advocates, then reducing chemicals in food chain so that people are not affected by the contaminated residue loaded food, for which there are many other ways. Promoting organic food is also one of such ways. So all these things will be talked at length by my fellow panelist, Dr. Usha and Teddy, through diet diversification topic, freedom from non-communicable diseases by Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj, who is also the convener of Tamil Nadu NetProfile, and Dr. Josita Lamba, who is heading the fortification effort in FSSI from Valbai. Also, she is spearheading the NetProfile network across the country. She will talk about the Eat Right India movement, through which we want to achieve universal health coverage by adopting safe and balanced nutrition. With these few words, I conclude my talk. I thank the management and the organizers of this event from the SDMB Vaishnava College, as well as the Network chapter, and Dr. Vijay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining in us in your busy schedule.
Thank you so much, sir. Really, the speech was very informative and we have learned a lot. And I request all the panelists and attendees to switch on their video so that we can take a virtual photograph. All the panelists and participants and attendees to switch on their video. Okay, we'll move on to the next session.
Thank you.
I now request Priyanka, my fellow mate, to take over the session.
Thank you, Farhana. Well, William Inch once said, the aim of education is the knowledge, not of fact, but of values. It is on occasions like this, we get opportunities to test our knowledge and understanding. We look forward to get a detailed insight on the webinar topic, our blueprint to achieve good health and well-being. May I now request Ms. Mahalakshmi, first MSc FSND, to introduce the Honorable Speaker of Session 1 to the gathering.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very much pleased to introduce Dr. Usha Antony Ma'am, who is the Dean of College of Fish Nutrition and Food Technology, Tamil Nadu. Dr. Usha Antony Ma'am is a retired professor from the Department of Biochemistry at Food Technology Center. She had completed training on Second Asian Graduate Course on the production and use of food composition data in nutrition from National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad. Ma'am had research interests in millet fermentation, prebiotics, probiotics, traditional fermented foods, and sensory studies on stevia. Dr. Usha Antony Ma'am was awarded with 4 MS Research Awards and 11 PhD awards and had filed more than 6 patents and published around 50 papers in international peer-reviewed journals. We wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mahalakshmi. I now invite our session 1 speaker, Dr. Usha Antony Ma'am, to take over the session. Ma'am, please. The participants are requested to post the questions in the chat box. After the session, our speaker will answer your questions.
Can you hear me? Good morning. Is my audio audible?
Yes, ma'am. Audible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Would you like to share the screen, ma'am?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll do that. Just a minute. Give me a
yes, ma'am. Please take your time, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, visible. Please continue.
Okay. So at the very beginning, my congratulations and thanks to the organizers of this program and the college management who have taken the initiative to organize such a important and significant webinar. As Sri Muthumaran sir pointed out, it's really is the need, considering the current situation we are facing, both at the global level and at the national level. So today I would like to share with you some of the aspects related to dietary diversity, because when we are talking about health, we know that diet is a significant part of that. So I will just go ahead. Okay. So I've just divided this whole presentation into 4 parts. Basically, the introduction, of course, is very small. We have what is the present scenario, what are the current developments, and what is the emerging thoughts or ideas or concepts, and how do we move forward? Because all of this, the past, the present, and the future are very important. I just made a simple fundamental health equation. What constitutes health and well-being? While health has specific indicators, well-being also has indicators, and both are important, because well-being is a sense of the self-awareness and the subjective feeling we have. People may tell us we are healthy, but if we as an individual or I as an individual do not feel healthy, that means I do not have the, I don't have a sense of well-being. So essentially health consists of two important factors, one of which is all clubbed together in terms of the environment, that is the air, the food, the water, and the hygienic practices which we have, and physical activity, which is something we decide to do. We decide to be physically active or inactive. So these components actually ultimately, they are the fundamental factors which make up our health. Basically, their health is determined by two important factors, the genetic makeup with which we are endowed and the environment. And we know that this gene environment interaction is what makes us what we are as we proceed from conception to the point of our death. And several environmental factors decide the gene expression. That's what we know today. How the epigenetic factors are playing such an important role, although that's not a part of this talk. Yet, I want to emphasize the biological aspect and the diet, basically, because we know that physical factors around us, especially air, water, soil, the climate and the pollution, they are all contributing. We have the emotional, psychological, socio-cultural, economics, trade and markets, which are also significant. Now, if we look at the current scenario, when we talk about food diversity is a fundamental requirement for nutrition security. And these are threatened today because of the population growth, where the estimated population is expected to reach 9.2 billion by 2050. At the same time, we have the climate change which is happening, and this climate change is leading to contamination of all our important resources, that is the air, the water, and the land. So soil fertility is affected, which means our capacity to grow food is affected, and clean water, which is again fundamental to our life. And as in the earlier inaugural speech, Muthumaran sir had said, the statistics are really alarming for us. And the WHO statistics show that currently, since the year 1975, obesity has tripled, diabetes has quadrupled, and high blood pressure has doubled. So this is not at all a healthy scenario. And if we look at the Indian status, we are not far behind. In fact, we are leading the world, because especially with respect to diabetes, and we are not very far with respect to hypertension. The health projections, again, should be a great concern for all of us who are involved in the food sector, nutrition sector, safety sector. We need to look at this, because we will be the world leaders for diabetes mellitus by 2025, as well as coronary heart disease. But we also know that with the developments which are happening, we have an increasing life expectancy, and there's a steady increase in the age population. So the geriatric aspects of nutrition should be of concern to us. So when more aged people form part of the population, there is an added burden for chronic diseases. And we are fortunate, as a nation, we are fortunate because we have a very large number of youngsters, and they should also be of concern to us, what their life will be like 20 years from now. It should be their concern, it should also be our concern. Now, what we have seen over the years are rapid changes in the diet patterns. There's an increasing popularity of fats, meats, soft drinks, sugary and salty foods, which we are trying to address. There's a decline of indigenous fresh foods simultaneously. Healthy snacks, traditional snacks, which have more nutrient density, they are no longer available in the market. Several beverages and fresh foods. And this has come from the urbanization, extensive urbanization. In fact, it's supposed to increase more over the next 20, 25 years. We have the increasing globalization of everything, including food, particularly food. I still have the recollection of almost 40 years ago, 1980s, there was only 1-2 restaurants in India, in Chennai, which had Chinese food. Today, there are so many of them serving it. Then, of course, the supermarketization, where when you go to the supermarket, you're tempted to buy more than what you need. And I don't need to overemphasize the media-based food culture we have today, some of which can be completely misleading and not ensure our nutrition. So simultaneously, what are the current developments in this area? We know that the food and nutrition sciences have advanced significantly. And people all over the world are doing research, and we now have accumulated scientific evidence to show that both nutrients and non-nutrients play a significant role in maintaining our health, in promoting and maintaining our health and well-being, in helping to reduce the risk of various diseases, both infectious and the chronic diseases, and of course helps in facilitating the management of these diseases. Both among individuals as well as communities, we have a lot of trials and a lot of studies which show that this helps. And diet is a key determinant of health because it is the link between food availability and consumption styles, which leads to our health and life expectancy and specific disease patterns, which we see in families or in communities or in a nation. And for this, again, there is extensive research evidence all over the world. The only problem is when we go down to the mechanism of action, we are not able to understand so much. Today, with more advancements and the multidisciplinary approaches which we are using to understand our health, I am sure that we will have more knowledge about that. Why do diet and nutrition matter? Because both of these very strongly influence our body composition and therefore obesity and all the related problems. Microbes in the gut, these are very, very important. Today, we know that the gut microbes, in fact, are determinants of our health and our own performance, both at the physical and mental level. And this is what will constitute our well-being and health. Diet matters because it fulfills very important human requirements. This is something known to us, but I would just like to emphasize a few points here, because nutrients are the fundamental units for all metabolic processes in our body. At the same time, sensory and organoleptic qualities play a role, and that is why youngsters are attracted to foods of high salt, high sugar, high fat. So that problem is there. So how do we address that problem? Creating awareness is one problem. Can we create foods which have sensory appeal? They are socio-cultural symbols. So we are just waiting for any chance to have a celebration. And even if it's not a celebration, when it is a celebration, we give so much of importance to the food. Then, of course, there is the added functionality. So the non-nutrients play an equal role, as shown in that pie chart. You have the catechins, flavonoids, saponins, isothiocyanates, allyl sulfides, carotenoids, many more, which are not listed there. And these play a significant role. We will see shortly what happens. So diets and balanced nutrition, this is something known to us. So three important characteristics are there: the food quantity and quality, particularly the nutrient density and safety, and where we have the global hunger problem, especially in our country, adequate intake of food, this is not there. So we have to ensure that. Then we have the factor of safety. Consumption pattern and physical activity are equally important because this is related to our culture, meal frequency, number of meals, portion size at various levels, wherever we are. And hygiene is very, very fundamental because the hygiene and sanitation practices will definitely determine how these, the diets which we are consuming, how much of the nutrients will be absorbed and how much of infection simultaneously we are getting into our system. And of course, clean water. So this is something which all of us know, basic fundamental things which I have covered. Now let us look at the emerging perspectives. So food has several dimensions. I want to go from the larger to the more finite ones. So if you look at that, availability, accessibility, and stability are very, very important because domestic production has to be increased, import capacity has to be increased. We should have sufficient food stocks. Luckily, our nation is safe with respect to that. Food aid is important. Poverty, definitely we need to make sure is alleviated and purchasing power is enhanced. Adequate transport, which means infrastructure, and we have a public food distribution system, which is very good. At least in our state is excellent. Stability comes from weather variability, and that is a major threat today, the climate change which we are having. Price fluctuations, all of us are facing that with the oil and gas prices going up and with the war which is on. It is really an important thing which decides the purchasing capacity of people, the economic and political factors, because when stability is not there, then food intake definitely is affected. You have the food production domain. This is equally important, where the food scientists play a role. So production biodiversity is very important. if we can recollect a bit of history during the Green Revolution, importance was paid much more to the cereals. Then because we wanted to be self-sufficient. Now, once that was achieved, the attention has shifted to other food groups. So millets, pulses, vegetables, fruits. Storage is important because of the wastage. So we need to look at that. Processing clusters are important if we want to minimize the waste. Even recently in the papers, we saw how tomatoes were thrown away. And distribution programs are important through whatever mechanisms. And it's very important to realize that optimal capacities and levels are important, because when we go in for very large scale ones modeled along what the Western countries do, in my view, this is my personal view, this will not work out for us, because infrastructure required for such large levels of processing will be expensive. It has its own problems. And we have such regional, diversity, and we have different ways of doing things, both the culture and tradition and everything. So this, if we go for smaller levels, then it's possible to get people into the, hold hands and do things. So balanced nutrition, from all this, when we come to the proper diet intake, we will get balanced nutrition. So food safety is a significant factor, which has been emphasized even earlier. Food availability, and this is where I will be focusing: variety and biodiversity, accessibility, knowledge and information. And seminars like this, that is what we are trying to do. We are trying to create an awareness so that, it is like the POT, training of the trainers. So already people are experts in that area. We enhance our knowledge so that we can share with the community outside. Now, if we have balanced nutrition, then there is optimum metabolism, right? So optimum metabolism is made possible because of the adequate intake of macronutrients, micronutrients. Today we know that bioactives should be there. So they should be there, and we should have the balanced gut microbes so that optimum metabolism will take place. And this will lead to good health and well-being. And particularly the metabolites of the microbes now today are known to affect our well-being. Today there are studies to show that your moods, dementia, Alzheimer's, all these can be influenced. Depression can be influenced by the gut microbes. So when we talk about dietary diversity, there are several aspects. First of all, this already has been emphasized, all food groups must be included, but we know that there are several, why are we having this global hunger index? Because people do not have enough food, and if at all they get food, it is one kind of, mostly it will be cereal. They may not get any of the other groups at all. So we have to ensure that people get wholesome meals. So this is necessary. But in each of these groups, we should have sufficient variety. And here again, we are really blessed. Our country is blessed because of the extensive number of agroclimatic zones which we have. Almost all agroclimatic zones are represented in our nation. And so we have the largest varieties in any of the fruits and vegetables. No other country has bananas like we have. No other country has the varieties of mango, brinjal, so many things, and rice varieties. Why these are important? Why is it? Because of the variation in the nutrient and non-nutrient content. Biodiversity, when we say, it is not just with respect to the environment. That is equally important, because when we have a biodiverse environment, then it is much better for the soil, it is much better for everybody. But when we're talking about nutrient intake, it's important to realize that these varieties do make significant contributions. It's not just that all banana have the same nutrient content, all brinjal have the same nutrient content. No. And that is what I'm going to demonstrate to you now. So I've just taken an example of millets because over so many years I've been working with this. Some of you may be already aware of this. If you look at the mineral content of the various types of millets which are there, although we consume only finger millet and pearl millet to a large extent, some parts of India consume sorghum, but others like proso, barnyard, kodo, little millet, they're less well known and less available. Compare the calcium, iron, zinc, copper, manganese, and chromium content. You can see what an advantage we have when we have not just we eat only finger millet or ragi, but if we end up eating other types of millets, definitely it's an advantage. So that is what I would like to highlight. So this simple table, similarly with the vitamin content, again, you can see how they are much better off than the maize, rice, and wheat which we consume. So there is definitely an advantage. This is some of the work which was done at Anna University, but by some of my students. We were trying to look at the traditional South Indian varieties, red rice varieties. So here you have, I've given there the red kauni, kaivara samba, kurvikar, pungar, katiyanam, kolliyal, mapalai samba, black kauni. These are all were used, and some of them are being revived today. What is significant about them? Okay. Traditionally, these were used for particular reason, because of their health value, or culturally they were, used for certain preparations. We have that. So if you look, we decided to analyze these varieties, and so I've just given you the table for 4 of them, data for 4 of them. You can see that, just look at the fat content. It is different. It's not the same. The crude fiber alone, we could not estimate the dietary fiber. It is different. Ash content is different. Protein content is different. So therefore, the carbohydrate content, there are not many studies at all, because if we look at the microstructure, I'll come to that later, we find that different types of starches are there. It's not simple. Look at the flavonoid difference and look at the anthocyanin difference. So there is a significant difference among varieties, and that is the reason it is important to, I wish to underscore the biodiversity aspect, how we should be eating multiple varieties, whatever cereal or pulse or what we are consuming. The other set of studies we did with another student, Charlie, one of my students, she worked on fructans in fruits and millets. And here again, so we analyzed various varieties of banana. We chose banana because banana is extensively consumed in our country. We looked at tomato. We screened almost 45 foods we screened. And in that, we selected some which tend to be high in fructans. And here again, you can see the, that is the Malavarapram or hill banana, Karpuravalli, red banana, Nendran, and jackfruit we looked at. I've selectively put only these because they tend to have a higher amount of fructans. So you can see here how the Nendran banana, which is a traditional variety grown in South India, and it's been used as a weaning food, is high in fructans. It is so much higher in fructans compared to the other varieties. You can see for yourself. Similarly, finger millet and pearl millet have, and they have xylan also. So they give rise to xylo-oligosaccharides, etc. So this is just to point out how it is important to eat different varieties, not just one type of varaparam, one type of apple, or one type of jackfruit. Jackfruit, again, if you are from South India and Kerala, you will know how we have different varieties for each. We make chips with one variety, we cook another as a vegetable. Then we, for ripening and eating fresh, we have different varieties. So that is known to the local people. Local people know what to use, how to use. I'm sure all of you know about the importance of hill banana. We have so much of value attached to the Malavarapram, which is available only in South India. You don't get it anywhere else. It grows, as you know, in particular part close to Palani, that region, Dindigal region, it grows because of the agroclimatic zone, and it has its own value. So when we looked at because Nendran banana had very high fructan content, we analyzed its prebiotic activity, and we found it was very much higher than all others. Okay, and we also found that it was even better than the commercial phos and inulin which is available in the market. So that goes to show how our local foods can be an excellent source of functional ingredients. Just to touch upon the microstructure of foods, when we as nutritionists, food and nutrition specialists, we tend to look at the food composition. Several times we forget the structure. The microstructure of the food is equally important. Now here, this is from the work which was published, and here it's part of my PhD thesis, where I tried to look at the histochemical staining of, this is ragi, one variety of ragi, market variety of ragi. And this, the central portion is mostly starch, as you can see in the first slide, in the first diagram. And the embryo is very rich. That purple color staining which you see is highlights the protein content. Okay, and the rest of it is the amyloplasts. You can see. Then you can see the aileron layer in the magnified picture on the right side. So you find that the pericarp, that is where the fiber and protein is. Okay, it is very rich, and it is variable in its polyphenol content. That is why you have different colors in any of the cereals or millets. You have different colors. So that seed coat is very important, and the microstructure is important because that decides the functionality of the nutrient. Then we looked at the prebiotic activity of polyphenol. All along we've heard as carbohydrate sources as being prebiotic, but we have now evidence to show that polyphenols are also prebiotic in nature. So this is work done by another student of mine, Geeta, where she analyzed the millet polyphenols. And we found that excellent prebiotic activity with millet polyphenols. You can see there how each of those varieties of the lactic acid bacteria utilizes to different extent, and we have the, so this is an advantage. Now this is again well established from other sources like grape, polyphenols, several types of olive polyphenols, various types of polyphenols. We are now showing that it is important. Now I want to move to another aspect of biodiversity, which is our traditional dietary practices. Traditional dietary practices, whichever part of India you come from, we have our cultural associations. We make certain types of foods for certain occasions. And this is very important, whether it is a normal state, it's a celebration, it is something else, whatever, gathering, which we have religious or social, we have certain practices and we follow them, right? Now, these have some important value because some of these traditional practices of medicine and healing, which are used in India and other countries, they are important. Some we don't understand. The scientific evidence for that is now is coming slowly. And even in the dietary practices, which have been traditional, whether it is Ayurveda or naturopathy or whatever it is, Siddha, prevention and therapy and management of diseases, they have placed a great emphasis on the diet. Another food which we worked on was kura. I just want to, why I need to highlight, why I'm highlighting that, I just wanted to, I'll tell you shortly, because microbial biodiversity is equally important. Okay. Now, biodiversity at all aspects we are losing. If we have only one type of rice, one type of dal, one type of corn, okay, this is not going to help us. Same way, just one set of microbes, Lactobacillus plantarum or Lactobacillus delbrueckii, that will not help. We must have a mixed culture, which we are consuming. Okay. A fermented porridge, this is kur is very, very unique food. Again, peculiar to South India, also, although rabadi is also made in the north from pearl millet. Okay. It's a meal replacer. It has cultural importance and it is used during the month of Adi. As you know, it's offered in temples. And if you look at the consumption pattern, again, it's linked to our tradition. Okay. And the scientific studies just show that the preparative handling and service of the product varies. It alters the taste, which is probably contributed by difference in microflora. Just like curd tastes different in different homes, because of the raw material being different and the microbes being different. So this is significant and we are not paying much attention to this. Here I've just put together some important traditional fermented foods of India, millet foods. In kur and nad and ambali, all these are used. Now, why this kur is so important? Kur is peculiar because it's a double fermented food and it has live bacteria just like the curd. Okay, no, not many foods have. If you take idli, dosa, all of them, we are cooking them. So most of the live bacteria are gone, but their metabolites are there. So some of the studies which have been done on kur, I've just put together here. As you can see there, you have various types of bacteria which are there, and they have antibacterial activity towards salmonella and typhi and vibrio and listeria. Okay, and they also found that when you do the fermentation in the lab, it's the lactic acid bacteria which dominate, although some yeasts are present. And we analyzed some samples from the market because it is now available as a street food, and then we found that it has quite a lot of microbes present in it, but also the safety and handling was not so good when it was from the street, and that was a problem. And we found both lab and yeast present in it. What I need to highlight is the probiotics we got from the food. We got 8 very significant probiotic microbes from them, okay? And Enterococcus herae, Enterococcus faecalis, Bacillus acidofaciens, and Lactobacillus plantarum. Now, any natural fermented food has multiple types of microbes in it, and none of them are harmful. That is the thing. So when we consume fermented foods, traditional and natural fermented foods, our intake, the diversity of microbes is also going to be high, and this is definitely an advantage for the consumer. Okay. I again put together the idli fermenting microbes. This quite a lot of studies are there. So here again, some species are dominating, like Leuconostoc mesenteroides, Streptococcus faecalis, Pediococcus cerevisiae, etc. And in some cases, they found Aspergillus and such fungal species. but that is usually very rare. When this lactica, both in idli and in fermentation of the millet, that is a kool, although the yeasts are there, normally it's very difficult to isolate fungi. Fungi are suppressed quite a lot. Okay, and we know that these slab and yeast play a significant role in the physicochemical properties of the batter as well as the final product which we get. And some people have also reported probiotic microbes from the idli batter. So this is again very significant. You may ask now why this is important. It is important because now we have evidence to show even the dead microbes, probiotic microbes, the metabolites which they give out could be of significance for us. And of course, we can isolate them from there. So I've just summed this up here. Natural fermentation has a mega potential because it enhances the bioavailability of various components, that is starch digestibility, protein digestibility is enhanced, enzyme presence is enhanced, micronutrient availability, both vitamins and minerals is enhanced, and they are an excellent source of bioactives and probiotics. So this is an advantage for us when we talk about biodiversity. So what is the way forward? So when any strategy which we must take, we must be aware of the larger issues. The larger issues are the health threats we face today, the economic problems we have today, then the lifestyles and the ecological. And demography. Demography is very, very important, as I think Dr. Lekha properly emphasized. All of us are aware of investment and insurance, right? There is a difference between the two. Insurance you normally take at a much older age when you feel okay, something you need to support yourself or your family against any unforeseen circumstances. Investment is something, it's a slight risk, but it's essential for you to get good returns later. So if we want a demographic dividend from our young, then it's important that we invest in nutrition, that we invest in balanced nutrition and all other aspects related to food, because that is very significant. And although it's not perceptible, we will see the dividends much later in terms of a population which is healthy, which has good well-being and therefore is productive. And this is something I think some nations have realized, and they are able to achieve it. Not all of us have successfully done it. So it's important for us to realize that at the policy level and take it forward. And I think that is one reason why FSSAI is pushing this aspect so much, and the importance of food and hygiene, balanced food, etc. So some take-home points. Food and ecological health are important because if we want healthy food, our environment should be healthy. So eat simply and eat enough only to meet your energy needs, and encourage supply according to each one's needs. Don't force feed people. Eat a plant-based diet as much as possible. This tends to be more biodiverse, so eat animal food sparingly, and encourage biodiversity, not just in the field, but also on the plate. And try to eat 20 to 30 species per week. Drink water, do not avoid soft drinks. Choose fresh fruit instead of the juice, whether the juice is fresh or stabilized, whatever the case may be. Eat seasonally and locally, because supporting the local suppliers is important, and the biodiversity can be maintained only if we support the local food. Because I just would like to mention here about the different types of kirai in each part of our country. Okay, so much of importance is only given to palak and spinach because that's the only thing available in the restaurant. But look at the varieties when you go to the market and what is actually available. So if you can have one different kirai for the whole, different kirais, almost I think there are several species. If we can alternate between all of them, because we are so blessed with such biodiversity, and certain varieties are not available all over. Typical examples are manathakali, spinach, and I think drumstick leaves are available all over India. Drumstick leaves, of course, is being promoted so much by companies also now, but we should look at the local varieties and support the cultivation and utilization of those. So dietary diversity basically gives us nutrition security. As I said, it's an important investment, and it's also an insurance because it can protect us against those diseases. Why? Because when we are talking about nutrition security, we take care of the nutrients, both the macro and micro, We ensure enough consumption of the bioactives, the probiotics, and when we have dietary diversity, then basically it's a more sustainable approach to the cultivation and production of the food, and definitely it is health promoting. So I want to end with this note. A diverse diet leads to what we call one health. In Tamil we say Eeredu Ulagam. There could be many galaxies, there could be many earths, but what we are aware of is only one earth. And this one earth we have to protect. And if we protect this one earth, it comes from one health. The concept of one health is not just my health, it's the health of everybody around me. It's the health of the environment around me. And when we're talking about environment, it also means the microbes. We should not forget them. Because in our attempt to get rid of the bad ones, which are harmful, we should not end up destroying the good ones, which actually support our health, which promote our health and protect against disease. So I would like to end with that. And this important message, which all of us need to take, that we have to promote healthy eating every time, everywhere, and we have to ensure safe foods, because health and wellness both today and tomorrow is dependent upon that. How much we can encourage healthy habits with respect to eating and hygiene in our homes, in our communities. And unless we all work together, we are not going to achieve this, because we all have our mandates, depending upon which profession you belong to, or whatever profession we may belong to, we are also consumers. So we should not forget that. So it's important that we work together. These are all my students, PhD scholars, who have helped with much of the work. Of course, not everybody's data is there. Thank you. I'm open to questions. I hope I've not taken too much time. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your in-depth knowledge about the importance of dietary diversity to achieve good health. Your session was full of enthusiasm and informative, ma'am. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now, I request Ms. Priti, second MSc FSND, to take over the question and answer session.
Thank you, Priyanka. Moving on to the question and session, ma'am. Ma'am, there are a few questions asked by the participants. Moving to the first question. India is the largest in fish production next to China, and fish foods rich in nutrients, mainly omega-3 fatty acids, especially for poor economy. Why its intake is not emphasized, ma'am?
People are actually consuming, but fish per se, what comes to the market and what is sold, and therefore the data with respect to that is higher. Those high value seafoods, or what we call the bigger fish, they are more expensive. Whereas this simple ordinary fish are less expensive and they are being consumed. But the problem is they are being consumed in local communities. So coastal areas and wherever there are lakes, ponds, local community is consuming them. And in fact, I think many NGOs and people who are working with them, when we're looking at balanced nutrition, when people are encouraged to, aquaculture is one of the important aspects of fisheries, which India is doing, and Tamil Nadu is also doing. So they do encourage, but we don't have sufficient data. We don't have studies on consumption, how much is actually being consumed. In the sense, there is some larger data per kg consumption, but it's very much lower. In our country, Northeast and Kerala are the highest consumers of fish, not Tamil Nadu. And our Indian average consumption is, I think it's about 9 kgs per year per person, if I'm not mistaken, latest statistics. It is a significant source of protein as well as other micronutrients. It is true, and we need to encourage. We need to encourage people to consume. The only problem with fish is that it is highly perishable. So transporting it, most people prefer the fresh form. Dried form is available. That is being consumed locally. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to the next question. How does cooking characteristics of the batter alters the microorganisms present in idli batter, ma'am?
Yeah, idli batter will have the microbes based on the time of fermentation. Whether you ferment it, generally about 15 to 16 hours we ferment, overnight fermentation for idli batter. So that high number will decrease. If you're steaming it, that will those microbes will be killed. But the metabolites of those microbes remain. That is what studies are showing. Not particularly with idli, but other fermented foods. And these metabolites are supposed to help. They're saying even the dead bacteria will help. Not so much as the live bacteria. So the cooking process will destroy, except the spore formers, etc., which may be there. But those are far and few.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to the next question. Sure. Ma'am, there is a say that in future doctors will no longer treat the human frame by drugs or medicines, but through food and nutrition. So to what extent that is possibility, ma'am?
It is definitely possible because if you look at our traditional practices again, so much of importance was given to food, meaning balanced food, okay, from which we have moved away. I spoke about the dietary shift. All of us are aware of that. We've moved away from our traditional practices, which had healthy foods. On one side, you have people who can't afford to eat, but assuming that people have purchasing power, that extent of biodiversity has definitely decreased. So that's one thing we should look at. So we need to look at that aspect. But if you say that, what shall I say, that all food is, we are not getting sufficient food, or how food will become in the future, it will definitely is moving towards that. We are now understanding that is precision nutrition is telling us how the nutrients we are consuming and the non-nutrients we are consuming is altering gene expression. When we say altering gene expression, it is what we call the epigenetic factors. And these epigenetic factors are telling us who's at risk. So everybody need not cut down on fat. Everybody need not cut down on carbohydrate. Everybody need not cut down on salt. Some people are more susceptible. And when we say not everybody need not cut down on salt, it is the mandate which we have taken up in FSSAI to reduce salt, to reduce sugar, trans fat, that is important. But the therapeutic benefit we will get from reducing, to what extent we say, now Dr. Meenakshi will speak about it, how much we can reduce. It is important for those people to reduce, but we do not see the same response in patient A, patient B, patient C. And that is because of the genetic variation. So the kind of food we consume definitely will affect us, and we will be moving towards that. But the question is, when we are talking about genetic profile analysis, it's a very expensive thing. So if such things come into play, will it be available for everybody is the question. But still, if we can identify large population studies, if we can do, and if we can identify risk factors, epigenetic risk factors, then it's definitely possible to have, group-wise and individual-wise tailored nutrition to be given to people. And that not everybody will need. Only the high-risk people will need. As I said, insurance and investment should come first. If that comes, you can avoid everything. And you'll have only few people who are at high risk, and such people can be treated at the individual. So we will move to that. I think so. That is my hope.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can we move to the next question, ma'am?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, when will the millet distribution start through public distribution system in Tamil Nadu, ma'am?
I have no idea. I think we have to ask the public distribution department, PDS division. They are supposed to start it. The earlier they start, the better. But I think along with that, some awareness also needs to be built, because not everybody knows how to use them. So maybe home science departments, nutrition departments will definitely have a role to, distribution of pamphlets, whatever, in which way they can use it. So I don't know in what form they are going to give and what varieties they are going to give. I'm not clear. Yeah.
Yes. Ma'am, can we move to the next session, ma'am?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
There are a few more questions in the chat box, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, due to time constraint, we'll move to the next session and we'll try to connect to you through mail, ma'am.
Yeah. I'll be happy to answer those. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you
so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Over to Priyanka.
Thank you, Priti. Let us now move on to the next session. I would like to call upon Ms. Janani, first MSc FSND, to introduce Honorable Speaker of the session 2 to the gathering. All the participants are requested to post the questions in the chat box. After the session, our speaker will answer your questions.
A very good morning to one and all present here. I am very glad to introduce Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj ma'am. Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj ma'am is a registered dietitian with 29 years of experience in clinical and therapeutic nutrition. Madam is a certified bariatric and critical care nutritionist, diabetic educator, and nutrigenomics consultant. She is a state rank holder and best outgoing student. Madam is presently working as a dietitian at the Tamil Nadu Government Multi-Speciality Hospital, Chennai. Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj ma'am is a convener for NetProfan Chennai chapter. She is a former dietitian in Institute of Diabetology, Rajiv Gandhi Government General Hospital, National Executive Committee member, former president of Indian Dietetic Association, former executive committee member of Nutrition Society of India, Chennai chapter. She has organized several national and international continuing nutrition education programs and workshops. Madam is the author of Diet Metrics Handbook of Food Exchanges, 2019 chapters in textbooks, journals, and manuals related to nutrition and diabetes. She has received Best Nutritionist 2019 award from FitUp Fest 2019 and Sadhana Award 2020 for contributions in the field of clinical and therapeutic nutrition, and she has also received IAPEN Quality Awardee 2021 in clinical and therapeutic nutrition and FSM. Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj ma'am has developed a COVID menu in March 2020 for Tamil Nadu State Government Medical Institutions. We wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Janani. I now invite our second speaker, Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj ma'am, to take over the session. Ma'am, please.
A very good morning to one and all present here. At the outset, I'm truly grateful to the management, principal of SNDB Vaishnav College for Women and the PG Department of Home Science, with special thanks to Dr. Vijayavani ma'am and Dr. Renu Agarwal ma'am and the entire team for the opportunity to be talking to you on freedom from non-communicable diseases. Today's date, even in the COVID pandemic, you would have seen that a number of people who are suffering from non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, asthma, cancer are the ones who are going through high rates of mortality and morbidity. Not only with the COVID pandemic, you will be seeing in my future slides that what is the effect of non-communicable diseases on the present population in our country as well as globally. So if you see that 71% of all the deaths globally are basically based on non-communicable diseases, and 77% of all the NCD deaths are in low and middle income countries. Most unfortunately, the 4 groups of diseases account for over 80% of all the premature non-communicable diseases. So when I talk of diet and non-communicable diseases, this statement rings in my ears very often. Every time you eat or drink, you're either feeding a disease or fighting it. For example, when we work with the onco patients, trying to prevent them from sarcopenia or, reduce their length of stay in the ICU, the best thing would be to preserve their muscle mass by feeding them well and improving their inflammation. Obviously, we can't improve the inflammation because of the tumor present, but definitely the influence of inflammation is much lower when the patient is well fed. So similarly, if I want to fight NCD, I need to feed the patient right. I need to feed the patient, the individual, the right sort of food, whether it comes to quantity of the food, quality of the food, the timing of the meal, as well as the consistency of the meal. Because when it comes to type 2 diabetes, we understand that carbohydrate, the quantity, the quality, the timing, and the consistency of the carbohydrate in the meal has a major role to play with glycemic control. So similarly, I can talk endlessly when it comes to all the various NCD diseases. For example, even if you talk of asthma or anybody suffering from chronic obstructive disease, you will understand that when you are going to feed the patient too much of carbs, he's going to exacerbate more because of more production of carbon dioxide. So similarly, if you are going to talk of COPD per se, we need a lot of healthy fat walking in and cutting down on the carbs, stepping up the protein. All these little things help us to fight the disease. But I say, why do we get crippled with NCDs? Why don't we think of prevention of NCD? Like, for example, it's always a beautiful saying to say that a tall building always has a lightning arrestor. And why do we wait for a tall building to be, hit by a lightning? Instead, we put a lightning arrestor. Similarly, why do we wait for an NCD to hit one of us? Why don't we think of prevention much earlier? I would say adiposity-based chronic diseases like NCD has a way out of prevention. This is a beautiful story which I would want to share with each one of you. This is a real-time story. A PIL was raised by the public in and around Jodhpur. Jodhpur is full of temples. And we are aware that in temples, the prasadam which is offered is usually, in those days, it used to be fruit salad. And then gradually it started moving on to high saturated fat, a lot of ghee being put in the prasad in the form of laddus, a lot of jalebis, and different sorts of varieties of prasad were started being offered in the temples in and around Jodhpur. And we all know that the monkeys jump from one tree to the other tree in order to procure their meal, that is the bananas. Everyone is aware that bananas are high in glycemic index, high in glycemic load. Every gram of banana provides 1 calorie approximately. Even then, the monkeys were not obese because they were jumping from one tree to the other in order to procure their food, that is the high calorie, high glycemic index, high glycemic load banana. But what started happening? They started becoming lazy and sitting on the temple tops to eat the prasad in the form of the jalebis and the laddus, and started having not only obesity, started also developing metabolic syndrome. So this is the situation of monkeys. There is a transition, I would say, industrialization, globalization, socialization, and the capacity to procure, probably unhealthy foods also is one of the reasons for metabolic syndrome and non-communicable diseases. As simple as if I am to say a quote of breast cancer. Breast cancer is directly related to the consumption of high saturated fat and high trans fat intake, which can actually easily be restricted in our regular day-to-day diet. Like that, I can give you a list of foods. For example, when we talk of sodium-rich foods, all of us are aware it's not only, going to worsen the risk of developing strokes or increasing the risk of hypertension or affecting the kidneys, but most importantly, it can also cause cancer of the stomach, which very few people do understand the importance of diet when it comes to the prevention of NCDs. Now, if I am to talk of what are the disease conditions which walk into the NCDs? NCDs, also known as chronic diseases, tend to be of long duration, and it is a result of not only our dietary habits, but genetic, physiological, environmental, and behavioral factors. Today, we have all gathered here to talk about behavioral factors, which is in our hands, which we can sort out. The 4 main types being cardiovascular, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes. And the other types are hypertension, dyslipidemia, obesity, metabolic syndrome, neurodegenerative diseases, cognitive impairment, depression, sarcopenia, degenerative disabilities, osteoporosis, osteopenia, cerebrovascular disease, rheumatoid arthritis, and the list just goes on. It was interesting when I was preparing these slides that I realized that in 2019, there was a proposal to include non-alcoholic fatty liver disease along with alcoholic fatty liver disease as also an NCD, and it has been approved by WHO for the same. Today, I'll be talking to you majorly about the factors of self-management, especially when it comes to food choices. So here we understand that the self-development, the sustainable development goals, the target is, what is the target? Our target is to reduce premature NCD mortality by 1/3 by 2030. I think it's a tall order, but it is an achievable order. And NCD prevention is critical to achieve many of the sustainable development goals. If you look at this slide, it's very interesting to see zero hunger. You'll be wondering when we talk of obesity and diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer. A lot of it is associated with high saturated fat, high trans fat, high calories. How am I associating zero hunger with non-communicable diseases? There is a concept called transgenerational risk of NCDs. If there is maternal malnutrition, if the young mother is undernourished or she's anemic, there is a high risk that she may deliver a low birth weight infant. Once she delivers a low birth weight infant, the infant which is born is having fewer beta cells, fewer neurons, fewer nephrons, and smaller organs. Obviously, when the organs are smaller in size, definitely the number of functional units are also going to be lesser. And in case once she has delivered a low birth weight infant, and if that infant is a female child, if she's exposed to a lot of calories, which any anxious mother would feed the child when the child is born low birth weight, exposed to too much of calories. Once exposed to too much of calories, we know that the number of beta cells, neurons, nephrons, all are lower in number. And you're exposed to high calories, you walk into refeeding syndrome or overfeeding syndrome, wherein the risk of type 2 diabetes, obesity walks hand in hand. So this is the transgenerational risk which we want to cut across by preventing or initiating the concept of zero hunger. Also, we can understand there is a four-pronged approach to this, the level of prevention and intervention. I would say the four-pronged approach is primordial prevention, primary prevention, secondary prevention, and tertiary prevention. Obviously, today, all of us have gathered to talk about primordial prevention, that is individual education and mass education. Each one of us should reach one and teach one in our capacity how they can prevent NCDs. So obviously it can be done at an individual level, country level, society level, global level. And how can we contribute towards this? We have to increase physical activity, ensure that there is 0% increase in diabetes and obesity prevalence, cut down our salt and sodium intake by 30%, and reduce the risk and prevalence of high blood pressures. All these are goals which we would want to achieve. Now, if I'm to go back to the Lancet report and talk to you about the global obesity rates, 1975 up to 2020, we've seen that from 105 million population, which was found to be obese, today's date in 2020, it is 641 million. And the men have tripled in numbers, the women have doubled in numbers, and most unfortunate to understand and note that 4 million women are super obese. Now, this is the story of the transgenerational risk of non-communicable diseases. As I mentioned to you, maternal malnutrition, low birth weight infant. When this low birth weight infant, if the infant is a female child, she grows up and she's not fed the right amount of protein in the first 2 years of life, she may have stunted growth, she may have short stature. Anybody who has a short stature is at risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And before she develops type 2 diabetes, she can land up with polycystic ovarian disease. And if left uncorrected, by not helping to lose weight, she may walk into gestational diabetes. And if her blood sugars are not under control during pregnancy, she may deliver a macrosomic infant. Once again, a macrosomic infant is going to be an infant born with insulin resistance. And when that child, if it is a female child, grows up, the history repeats of transgenerational risk of non-communicable diseases. Now I will go to a true life story from the year 1972 to 2022. That is, I am taking you down 50 years. This is a true time story. It's not a story which has just been wound up and prepared to present it to you, but it's a true time story. One Mrs. X was 26 years old, female, 5 feet, 34 kgs. Her BMI was 15.11 kg per meter square. In her first pregnancy in 1972, she delivered a 1.4 kg female. During her first pregnancy, she ate only dry fulkas and pickle throughout the pregnancy. Not that she could not afford or she did not have access to food, but she just did not want to eat anything other than dry chapatis and pickle throughout her pregnancy. And unfortunately, she delivered a 1.4 kg female at home. And this 1.4 kg female, when she grew up, she turned out to be a gestational diabetic mother during her pregnancy. She was put on insulin. She had recurrent episodes of hypoglycemia. So she finally managed to do away with her pregnancy with only medical nutrition therapy by split meal plan therapy. And she delivered a 2.9 kg female child. Now remember that there are several lists of complications when it comes to GDM. One of them being neonatal hypoglycemia, hyperbilirubinemia, hypomagnesemia, or the child can have a congenital anomaly. The list is long. You can have shoulder dystocia. But anyway, this little one had only neonatal hypoglycemia, and as she grew up, she developed lactose intolerance. But thankfully, this female child who was 1.4 kgs when she was born, she did not gain too much of weight after her delivery, and she managed to be without diabetes till 2022. But she developed systemic hypertension in 2021, and in 2021 she underwent an angiography for mild chest pain, but thankfully there were no blocks, none of the arteries were blocked. She had a pristine report, meaning all her arteries were as they were born, meaning there were no blockages. So that was the beauty about the whole thing, that though she was at risk of developing non-communicable diseases, she managed to have no cardiovascular disease, but she developed stress-induced hypertension, which was not salt sensitive, and she till date did not develop diabetes. Now, what happens to her sibling? Now, after the first pregnancy, which Mrs. X had, it was her second pregnancy. During her second pregnancy, her in-laws pushed her hard and said, you hardly ate chapatis and pickle throughout the pregnancy in the first pregnancy, and you delivered only a 1.4 kg female. It's time you ate healthy. In those days, health meant probably a lot of cream, a lot of whole milk, and a lot of rich food. And she tended to develop or deliver a 4 kg female, which means she delivered a macrosomic female child. That means she must have been having gestational diabetes during her pregnancy. But during those days, there was no universal screening for pregnancy for gestational diabetes. So she delivered a 4 kg female child. Now this 4 kg female child, when she grew up, she had both gestational diabetes and pregnancy-induced hypertension. She delivered a preterm infant, but in spite of the infant being preterm, she delivered a macrosomic baby. And in the due course, she gained more than 30% of her usual body weight. And today's date, she is both hypertensive and type 2 diabetic. So you'll understand here, if the child is low birth weight and following a good nutrition plan, she can still manage to pull out 50 years without developing diabetes. At the same time, the same sibling, when she does not follow medical nutrition therapy, she gains a lot of weight after her pregnancy. She may develop non-communicable diseases like hypertension and type 2 diabetes if she does not follow lifestyle modification. This true time story is the first female child who was 1.4 kgs is none other than Meenakshi Bajaj, myself. That's why I could trace down the history for the past 50 years. Now I would want to make some comment on the evidence which we have with low birth weight infants. 20.5 million newborns, 14.6% of all the babies born globally that year suffered from low birth weight, which in turn leads to stunted growth, lower IQ, adult onset chronic conditions. So beware and ensure that no mother is undernourished or anemic during her pregnancy. Also, it is interesting or depressing to understand that women who have had GDM are more than 7 times as likely to develop type 2 diabetes as women who didn't have diabetes during pregnancy. So which sensible diet do you want me to follow? The internet is full of different diets which can help prevent non-communicable diseases. Look at this syndrome. This is the idiot syndrome. In this idiot syndrome is nothing but internet-derived information obstructing treatment. We see in today's date a lot of ketogenic diet and paleo diet. In the name of paleo diet, ketogenic diet being prescribed to anybody and everybody, whether the individual is under supervision, not under supervision. They use the information from internet, either it's evidence-based or not evidence-based, without supervision, follow certain diets and get stuck. Not only get stuck, I literally mean by saying get stuck is land up with several complications from stroke, hepatic steatosis, dyslipidemia, especially LDL cholesterol, raise in TGL cholesterol, as well as, they have also landed up with pancreatitis, gallbladder calculi. In fact, I had a young girl, a 21-year-old girl with hypothyroidism and PCOS who followed a ketogenic diet and landed up with amenorrhea due to athletic triad wherein the carbohydrate intake came down less than 50 grams per day. Similarly, we also see a lot of guidelines. Some of them are good, bad, and downright confusing. What I mean to say by saying this is, some time ago, a few years ago, came the spicy headline saying that don't worry about the cholesterol intake. Only, you can have ad libitum foods rich in cholesterol. No, you should have read the guideline till the bottom line. It said that those who have dyslipidemia, diabetes with cardiac failure or coronary artery disease, or who had a raised LDL or a total cholesterol, they were supposed to restrict their dietary cholesterol intake to less than 300 and less than 200 milligrams per day. It was only the healthy population who did not have any of these complications, did not have to worry about cholesterol, because 85% of the cholesterol is synthesized by the liver, only 15% comes from diet. But those who are at risk or those who are having complications, they should definitely restrict their dietary cholesterol intake. Now, another important thing is the powerful endocrine disruptors. The tasty fish fry or the basa fish finger, which we consume, may contain mercury, may contain dioxins. That is one powerful endocrine disruptor, which can in turn cause PCOS, or it can also cause type 2 diabetes. Not only that, a lot of these pesticides, herbicides, all the personal care products, any foods containing heavy metals, or certain hormones which are, not taken under the supervision of a treating consultant, you may land up with powerful endocrine disruptors. Not only that, if you're going to make the most healthiest of green leafy vegetable or the whole grams, seasoned well, and put it into a plastic dabba, which is not food grade, you may land up with production of dioxins, which in turn not only, maybe at the individual may be at risk of developing cancers. Now, this is another beautiful cutting from the Times of India paper, which I read a few months ago, wherein I found that it's not only the urban population who falls prey to socialization or industrialization or globalization and picking up unhealthy foods, ultra-processed foods. It's even the rural population who want to become a hero. If you look at this, I took my wife and kids to McDonald's for the first time and bought the kids their own burgers with the toys in it. My kids looked at me like I was their hero. So this is the happy meal which comes along with the burger. And the chai wala wanted to be like a hero in front of his child and took him to get a burger. So under whatever pressure you may say, peer pressure, family pressure, or just to feel like a hero, he did this for his little one. But the little one, if going to be, exposed to such unhealthy food, definitely is going to be consuming it on regular basis. Once fallen prey to this, becomes difficult to move out of it. So better to choose on traditional, local, and seasonal foods than to go on to ultra-processed foods, which are rich sources of saturated fat, sugars, and sodium. And another important thing, there was a time when we had only Domino's pizza, which when not offered in less than 30 minutes, it would come free to us. Similarly, the ready to eat, ready to serve, ready to cook, convenient foods are also super sources of high fat, salt, sugar. And the Swiggy and the Zomato apps have made life, I would say, little comfortable on one end, but on the other end, it acts as a stepping stone to non-communicable diseases or a ticket to heaven, actually not heaven, maybe hell. And in fact, this will add on to an app of bariatric centers in and around our homes, because the more the Zomato, more the Swiggy, without mindful choices, you're going to look up for bariatric centers in order to correct obesity. So it's nice to know that Chennai, whether it comes to convenience or socialization or experimenting with cuisines, is much lower than the other cities. So I hope and pray that we still continue and the other cities also join hands with us and come down to reducing their food habits, changing their food habits due to socialization, convenience, and experimenting with cuisines. The future of eight is wait, and the most funny part is that people realize it very late. No, the need of the hour is to shift to positive and preventive nutrition, not falling prey to fad diets like the sleeping beauty diet or the calorie counting diet or the Wilder's ketogenic diet or the cabbage soup diet or the coconut diet. There are a list of diets. All these diets come and go away. Even the Hollywood diet or the caveman's diet is the paleo diet. In the paleo diet, basically no sugar, no salt, no processing, no cooking, in other words. During those days, they used to hunt, kill, gather, and eat only nuts, plants, fruits, and vegetables, probably some nuts and seeds, and some coastal fish. They never used to cook them with oil or add any salt or any sugar. If it was possible for us to eat 3 times a day only raw food without cooking, then paleo diet may do wonders. But if you're going to still consume a lot of red meat in the name of paleo diet, definitely there is going to be an increase in trimethylamino oxide, which is not cardiac friendly. And also, if is it possible for one to eat salt free or without cooking in this tropical climate? So fat diets don't really work. Years later, during the low carb craze, she became known simply as Mary had a lot of lamb. There was a time, some time ago, I would say in Nungambakam, a lot of soya diet was pushed. And whenever protein is being pushed, remember, you have to cut down on the salt intake, step up on the fluid intake so that there is no inadvertent, influence on the kidneys. Remember that always going plant-based, going vegetarian, going vegan, not only does good to the climate, but also to our health in prevention of non-communicable diseases. So this is the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics in the US, which says very clearly that by going vegan, vegetarian, one can reduce the risk of heart disease, blood pressure, stroke, obesity, different types of cancer, and type 2 diabetes. Not only that, when you go plant-based, vegan, vegetarian, you're having a healthy gut. By doing clean eating and cutting down on saturated fat, trans fats, as well as avoiding reheated oils, you will find that the gut is healthy. When the gut is healthy, you're reducing the risk of not only non-communicable diseases, a host of other diseases like IBD, IBS, colorectal cancer, infectious diseases, depression, Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, psoriasis, atopic dermatitis, and the list just goes on. Another important thing was a blue zone diet, which are 5 different places throughout the world where they found that number of centenarians are living without cardiovascular disease, without type 2 diabetes, without dementia, leading a healthy life, more than 100 years of age, where they felt that the blue zone diet meant to come down on red meat intake, cut down on saturated fat from whole milk or whole dairy, cut down the sugar not only to 28 grams, I would say to 25 grams in children and only about 5 to 10 grams in the adult population. Cut down on the egg yolks, go easy on fish, choose on river water fish, lake water fish in order to keep away from dioxins and mercury. Snack on nuts, healthy nuts, sprout them, roast them, not sprout them, I would say roast them or soak them overnight. Drink most of water, cut down on alcoholic intake, alcoholic beverages or beverages which require extra sugar in them. Consume a lot of beans in the form of, they contain both soluble and insoluble fiber and magnesium and healthy plant-based protein. Go wholly whole as much as possible. Consume less processed or not processed. At least one meal of your day should be completely non-processed, and as much as possible, go 95 to 100% plant-based. Cut down on sugar, cut down on artificial sweetness. Artificial sweetness, though, they can be consumed as per acceptable daily intake, like you can consume stevia, sucralose, aspartame, asulfame, potassium, all of them, yes. But then when these are also consumed, they cause gut dysbiosis on the long term. Remember to read the label, to look for the hidden words like baking powder, mineral salts, MSG, sodium bicarbonate for invisible sodium. For sugars, Remember, keep away from high corn fructose syrup, maltose, mannitol, golden syrup, corn syrup. All these are forms of sugar. Saturated fat, I don't think I need to sell ice to the Eskimos. I'm sure you know all of it. But remember, the word edible hydrogenated fat is not the ideal source of fat which we would like to consume. And as I've already mentioned to you, keep away from all the ultra processed foods. One packet of instant noodles can give you more than 1000 milligrams of sodium. And if you're going to add soya sauce, chili sauce, tomato sauce, and some amount of monosodium glutamate, you're going to cross the 2300 milligrams of sodium requirement per day, which has been suggested by WHO. How would you want your trans fatty acids to be prepared? You go to a restaurant, ask for butter naan, butter paneer masala, dal makhani, or garlic bread with a lot of butter and cheese on it. You're just asking for trans fatty acids. Remember, don't get carried away with color on the food. For example, on flights, they serve a lot of sandwiches which are brown in color, and people think that it's brown bread is healthier than white bread. Both are refined flours. It's only the caramel color which adds to the brown color. Unless and until you choose a whole grain, multi-grain bread with a lot of nuts and seeds around it, I don't think it's a right choice to go with brown bread. Portion control is important, whatever you may choose, whether it's millet or whether it's oats or whether it's any cereal exchange, portion control is important. Remember the label for saturated fat, serving size, sugar, fiber. Sometimes the serving size, there are a lot of hidden agenda in a nutrition label. Be very, very careful when you read a nutrition label. Don't go fat-free or carb-free. Go with balanced diet. Remember, half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. Quarter should be the whole grains. Remaining quarter should be lean protein or plant-based protein and low-fat dairy. That should make up your plate. And do mindful eating. Remember, it's not, it's a lifestyle. You need to do this change for life. It's not for a day or two or for a week. There's no cheat day like a cheat day. Everything in moderation is great to go with. Remember the rule of 5/20 when you choose on a processed food. 5% daily value or less in fats and sodium, and aim for 20% more of the daily value in terms of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. I would say it's simple. Freedom from NCD would mean control weight gain, alter portion size from 12-inch plate, 9-inch plate to a 6-inch plate, delete refined and processed foods. Remember, your plate should not be empty. It should carry a lot of veggies. And most often people forget to consume veggies for dinner. Remember to have a nice big bowl of veggies. Follow a food order. First the fiber, then the protein, then the cereal portion. You will see that you will blunt the glycemic response and you will not exhaust your beta cells. I think it's time for all of us to get together under the banner of FSACI, IDA, IFCA, PHFI, as well as Nutrition Society of India, AOAC, all of this AFSTI, IAPN get together and work towards a common goal, the freedom of NCD, not only freedom of NCD, zero hunger, and the list just goes on, but just keep together. Remember to have a balanced diet, eat less, eat timely, eat only 80% till you're 80% full, avoid trans fats. Remember to choose on each one food ingredient from each food group so that there is diet diversification. Eat local, eat seasonal, eat traditional. Consume fortified wherever there is a risk of micronutrient deficiencies. Cut down on saturated fat, sugar, and salt in your diet on regular basis. This is a beautiful video. If anybody has the time, please go through this video. It is known as Aaj se thoda sa kuch kam. If anybody is consuming 10 cups of tea, remember every cup of tea is going to have 1 to 2 teaspoons of sugar. If everybody is consuming biscuits every day, from 3, bring it down to 2, 1, and gradually stop it. So whatever said and done, you may enjoy the best or the tastiest, but reduce the content of salt, sugar, and fat in your daily diet. Start from today. Take a pledge today that you will reduce the consumption of processed and ultra-processed foods. If you want to keep away from type 2 diabetes, chronic disease, cancer, cardiovascular disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, remember to maintain ideal body weight. And osteoporosis is also a part of NCD. Remember to expose yourself with physical activity, which reduces the excretion of calcium. And also, expose 18% of your body part, that is only your arms at least, to sunlight between 11 to 2:30, which will do wonders. And you will be able to meet your 100% vitamin D requirement. So watch what you eat today. So tomorrow you can keep diseases at bay. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Individually, we are one drop, but together we are an ocean. All of us can join together and fight this struggle of non-communicable diseases. Thank you for your patient listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful speech and valuable information about the freedom from non-communicable disease. It will definitely help our budding nutritionists in the gathering to gain more knowledge about non-communicable diseases. The platform is open for questions. May I now request Ms. Reena, first MSc FSND, to take over the session.
Thank you, Priyanka. Good afternoon, ma'am. There are many questions posted on the chat box. The first is, ma'am, can you explain whether intermittent fasting is advisable to non-communicable disease patients, in particular people with diabetes, and are there any side effects?
Those who are with type 2 diabetes and they attempt intermittent fasting, they have to ensure that they have adjusted their medications with their endocrinologist and diabetologist and handled by a dietitian. Reason being, if they are on secretagogues, they can be at risk of developing hypoglycemia. If they are on short-acting insulins, then they may be at risk of hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia can be dangerous. You can walk into coma and you can go into a vegetative state also. So there are some benefits with reference to intermittent fasting, but it has to be handheld with a qualified dietitian as well as under the supervision of an endocrinologist. Probably they can attempt, but type 1 GDM, they are definitely not at, I wouldn't advise them to go on intermittent fasting.
Thank you, ma'am. The other question says, ma'am, can you explain the side effects of overconsumption of nuts and oil seeds? What is the recommended amount for people suffering from NCD?
Yeah, recommended. See, if I would say nuts and oil seeds, first and foremost, if you're pregnant, definitely no seeds. Okay. There is not enough data to tell us that these seeds like flaxseed, even as simple as Vendium, like the fenugreek seeds, which we talk of, which have a lot of soluble fiber, omega-3 fatty acids and all of it. But none of these seeds are researched in pregnant women. So first thing is no seeds in pregnant women or no adjunct therapies in pregnant women. Second thing, when it comes to nuts, in order to make them more bioavailable, in order to have the zinc more bioavailable, you want to inactivate the anti-nutritional factors. You can either soak them overnight or roast them. So they are the best ways of consuming nuts. And you can replace one cereal portion. Say suppose a patient is eating 3 idlis or 3 chapatis or 2 cups of rice. Simply remove 1 idli and replace it with 8 to 12 almonds, soaked almonds. So that is a great thing to do with. Reason being, as I mentioned to you already, the food order. First the fiber, then the protein, and then the cereal portion. So this blunts the postprandial glycemic response. So it's any day healthy, unless and until you're having diabetic end stage CKD, wherein potassium is an issue or phosphorus is an issue, or you may have some GI obstruction. In those situations, you may have to keep away from nuts, not otherwise.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can we move on to the next session, ma'am?
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Over to Priyanka.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll get back to you when the session is over. Thank you so much for your valuable information and joining us in spite of your busy schedule, ma'am. We're moving to the next session.
Thank you, ma'am. We have been listening to eminent speakers deliberating in the areas of dietary diversity and management of non-communicable diseases since morning. All these insights gave us a new perspective that one should adapt in our lifestyle. Now, we will move on to the last session of the webinar, the validatory session. I'm happy to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Joshita Lamba ma'am, Deputy Lead. She has done her PhD in the area of probiotic content of traditional Indian fermented foods from University of Delhi. She has several publications in international and national journals. Her key areas of interest are food safety, nutrition, and food security. She has also worked in prestigious organizations like Export Inspection Council of India, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, Lady Evan College, and World Bank. Currently, she is working as a nutrition consultant, Food Fortification Division, FSSAI, and also providing technical assistance to FSSAI's flagship program, Eat Right India Movement. I now request Dr. Joshita Lamba Ma'am, Deputy Lead, to address the gathering about achieving the universal health coverage through Eat Right India. Participants are requested to post their questions in the chat box. After the session, Ma'am will answer your questions. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much for the introduction and thank you for the invite. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the Institute in organizing such an event, which is very much important, seeing the current situation, and very well organized. Prior notice, everything was on time and a well organized event. So congratulations, first of all, for that. So today you have listened to all the eminent speakers with their lot of experience and how we can change a little bit in our own diet to ensure that yes, we are leading a healthy life. But these are just the strategies which were discussed. But today I will be discussing how each one of us can contribute and make the change. So I'll be sharing my screen. So hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible. You can continue, ma'am.
So today I will be discussing about the Eat Right India movement, the FSSAI's initiative, where how we can achieve universal health coverage. So the theme for this year's Health Day is achieving universal health coverage. So how through Eat Right India initiative we can achieve that, and how each one of us plays a very important role, and together we can achieve this universal health coverage. So as discussed by previous speaker like Muthumaran sir, who discussed about how FSSAI works, I'll not elaborate on that. Yes, FSSAI is an autonomous body which mandates to provide safe and wholesome food to all the citizens of the country. So FSSAI has continued to grow and evolve, aligning its strategies and priorities with countries' changing health scenario. As you can see, the latest NFHS 5 data shows that yes, the rate of obesity has also increased, and also anemia rate has also increased. So along with we are facing a triple burden in the country, and how we can work together and face this challenge to reduce the triple burden scenario in the country. So this is the need of the country as already discussed. So FSSAI realized that there is a need to go beyond traditional setting. So FSSAI was previously setting standards, ensuring that the food we are consuming is safe and hygienic. But they thought that let's go beyond that and let's focus on other aspects of nutrition as well. Beyond food safety, healthy diets was also one of the focus in the Eat Right India program, which was launched. The program was a collective effort for all the key stakeholders. It's not a government program, a government scheme. This program where all the key stakeholders, everyone, each and every citizen can come together, be part of this program. It's an organic program where anyone can come in and be part of it. So this was a launch of the program. So what we want to achieve through this program is significantly reduce the burden of foodborne illness, lessen micronutrient deficiencies, reverse the burden of preventable diet-related NCDs, reduce carbon footprint, ensure more sustainable food sector. So this program, we are focusing on the supply side, where food is getting prepared from farm to the plate. and also the demand side, how each and every citizen can contribute to this. So this program has various initiatives, various symbols, so that people can identify it. As you can see, the logo of Eat Right India, it's in a form of healthy plate. Each and every color of the logo, like the green color corresponds to fruits and vegetables. This yellow color corresponds to cereal. So there's a story behind all the symbols that are being used in Eat Right India. So for more details, you can log on to Eat Right India website and know about how this symbol was created and what is the story behind each and every symbol. So this program is not working alone, standalone program, but it is converging with other schemes of government as well, which were already existing, or there are other schemes which are coming up. So as you can see, it is aligned with the vision of Poshan Abhiyan, Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Fit India movement, National Health Mission, Niti Ayog's vision, and also WCD, Ministry of Education, all are coming together to be part of this program. So it is a people partnership, and we are engaging everyone. We are enabling them to work with us, and we are providing them a platform to contribute to the society. So Eat Right India program adopts the food systems approach and integrates food safety, public health, and environment sustainability. As you can see, as I was saying about the logo, this is the story of the Eat Right India logo, how it was developed. It was based on Ayurveda, the sense of different taste, and also the food groups. So all the colors are corresponding to a specific component. So Eat Right India program lies on three main pillars, that is Eat Safe, Eat Healthy, and Eat Sustainable. Under Eat Safe, we are focusing on personal surrounding hygiene and sanitation throughout the value chain, combating adulteration, eliminate toxic residues in the food, prevent hazards of used cooking oil. And under Eat Right, Eat Healthy pillar, we are focusing on balanced diet diversification, eliminate industrial trans fat, reduce salt, sugar, and saturated fats in the diet, and eat fortified staples. Under Eat Sustainable, we are promoting local seasonal foods. We are also focusing that there should be no food wastage. And in case there is any food wastage, there is a specific initiative corresponding to that, so that there is less food wastage, or in case there is a food that is waste, there is a program called Safe Food Share Food, where you can donate your food that is in the right condition. Then reduce recycled plastics, conserve water, reduce chemicals in the food chain. So these are the broad key pillars, and corresponding to each pillar, we have an initiative attached to it, so that how we can achieve it through that initiative. So I'll talk about the initiative. When we talk about supply side, where we are focusing on strengthening the food businesses, the initiatives are like FOSTAC, that is Food Safety Training and Certification Course, Clean Street Food Hub. I'll focus on each and every initiative separately in following slides. And these are certification schemes where we are certifying a street food hub, we are certifying clean and fresh fruit and vegetable market. We are also certifying places of worship, Eat Right stations. Then there is a scheme called hygiene rating for all the restaurants and catering establishments, meat shops, sweet shops. So how we are focusing that safe and nutritious food, both the things are being supplied to the consumer. Then we go to the demand side, where we are empowering the consumer to demand what is their right. So their right is safe and nutritious food. So we are enabling them and empowering them to through education, through awareness activities, through different initiatives. When you talk about building consumer awareness, we have an initiative called Eat Right Campus for all the colleges, all the offices people are working. Any office or college can become an Eat Right campus. Eat Right School, Eat Right Toolkit, Then addressing adulteration, we are focusing at supply side that there should not be any adulteration during manufacturing, but how a consumer can check whether the food is adulterated or not through food safety vans that are available, food safety on wheels that are mobile vans available in each state where you can get your food tested. Then we have dart books, we have food safety magic box. We have created simple 100+ test of common staples, common food we are consuming at home to test whether the food is adulterated or not. Simple 1-minute test, anyone can do that at home. Then Consumer Connect. This is an app where you can give your any feedback, or if you have faced any problem when you have purchased the food, you can always use this app, and this is available. A website is also there where you can give your complaint about any food that is not safe for consumption. Then enabling healthy choices through food fortification initiative, reducing salt, fat, trans-free India by 75 at the rate 75 by 2022. So we are focusing that India will be trans fat free by 2022. And then on sustainability, we are working on Jaivik Bharat, organic foods. We are promoting that through the logo. And then safe and sustainable packaging in food, repurpose of used cooking oil, and safe food, share food. So first was the key theme pillars, then the initiatives where each one of us can contribute. So FOSTAC is a food safety training and certification program to ensure that the food handlers in any establishment are certified. So for every 25 food handlers, one food handler must have taken a FOSTAC training, so to become a food safety supervisor. Once a person becomes food safety supervisor, he can take training for rest of the people who are working in his particular organization or the restaurant or any hotel chain. So here you can become a FOSTAC trainer if you are eligible for any of the courses, or ensure, suppose you are in college, you can ensure that the canteen person have undertaken FOSTAC. So your checks are the part of this program. And if you are aware how students can contribute to this initiative is through these checks, or become one educator of all these initiatives. So I'll come to the point where how students can become part of this and how they can register and become part. So here FOSTAC, there are 3 courses, that is basic course, then advanced course, and then special courses. So special courses for catering, for milk and meat manufacturers. So this is the FOSTAC training, and currently there are 6 lakh of food safety supervisors who were trained in using this FOSTAC online portal. For benchmarking and certification scheme, there are simple steps is identification of the cluster, then quality benchmark for hubs or as per schedule 4. So a checklist is given for each and every certification. First checklist, there will be an internal audit, pre and post audit. Pre-audit will be done on the checklist. Then if you feel that yes, there is a need to have some training, or there is a need to change a system, you can do that. And then there will be a post audit. Post audit, there will be a checklist, and an audit agency will come and do the audit of these clusters. Then training and capacity building will be done during before post audit of all the vendors of that cluster. And then a certificate will be issued for a period of 2 years. So whenever you are going out and you are going to a street food, consuming any street food, just check if your market is having a clean street food hub certificate or not. If not, you can talk to them, you can convince them to go for this. This will not only help them build a system where hygienic food will be served, it also builds a system where people are also assured that yes, the food prepared in this establishment is safe for consumption, they have undertaken training, and they are certified. Similarly, for clean fresh fruit and vegetable market, same process will be followed as the street food, and you can ensure that the market has this certificate and it has clean clean, fresh and vegetables that are available in the market. Then we have bhog, that is blissful hygienic offering to God, to ensure food safety and hygienic standards in and around the places of worship. So currently there are 144 establishments that have been certified as under the bhog scheme. And for street food, there are 29 street food hubs that are certified. And then we talk about eat right stations. So where stations, the food prepared in the station or that is available in the train, all can be certified, and it would ensure that the food served at the station or at in the train is safe for consumption. And currently 5 stations have come up and they have got the certificate of eat right station. So they are not only focusing on hygiene of the food or training of food handlers, they are also modifying their menus also to provide healthy food, and to they're also adopting practices like not to fry food after 2 times in the same oil. So these are simple things which they are following while they are preparing food, if they have the eat right station certificate, because all this training is conducted before giving them this certificate. So hygiene rating is another scheme where online certification program which encourages food business to self-comply, that whatever food they are preparing is hygienic and they are following best practices while preparing the food, and it also supports consumer in making informed choices. So we have already collaborated with food delivery partners like Zomato and Swiggy, where they will show that the restaurants which are hygiene rated separately. So you can choose from the restaurants which are hygiene rating, which will motivate other restaurants also to get this certification. So here you identify the restaurant, brief them about hygiene rating concept. This is how you can go about making a restaurant take this initiative. Hygiene rating, where there will be training of the food handler through FOSTAC, and the establishment will be checked through a checklist that they are following all the safety and hygiene protocols. Then self-assessment will be done by the restaurant, and after that if they feel that there is a need to change something, they can do that, and after that they can apply for the final audit. After final audit, they will receive a hygiene rating certificate. The certificate is the form of smileys, where 5 smileys show that the establishment is is excellent, then very good, good. So based on the smileys, you can check the restaurants, yes, how much hygiene they are maintaining. So this was the supply side, where we are focusing on people who are manufacturing food, who are supplying food. Now we talk about the demand side, where we want our citizens to be empowered and how they can make the change. So first is the program is Eat Right School, which acts as a powerful tool to create an environment of safe food and healthy eating across all schools in India. So we have this initiative where 53,000 schools have already been registered, and they will there is a regulatory framework which says that no food that is high in fat, sugar and salt will be allowed in the campus, in the school campus, or in and around 50 meters of the area. So we are having all the resource material also for the schools which are getting registered, like we have yellow books, we have activity books for each and every class, so that teachers can adopt directly and start doing those activities to inform students, to educate them that how they can include healthy, safe habits in their daily routine. Then we have Eat Right Campus, where certification is provided to promote safe, healthy, and sustainable food in campus, such as schools. Schools we already cover in Eat Right School, then universities, colleges, workplace. So your campus, your college can also apply for this Eat Right Campus certification. All the resource material is available on the website. There is a dedicated Eat Right India website. And for each and every initiative, we have one nodal person and one dedicated website also for that initiative. So you can visit that and get more information. For Eat Right Campus, we have resource material, posters. So all the posters, resource material, videos are freely downloadable. You can download that. You want to translate that in regional language, you can do that. And then circulate among your peers, your college groups, even your home WhatsApp groups. So you can start downloading these materials. All the material has been prepared by technical domain experts. We have a very, very strong network of NetProfan who are assisting us, supporting us in developing these technical materials. So all the materials are being vetted by experts. They are prepared by the experts, and to ensure that, yes, uniform messaging should be circulated throughout the country, we are having these networks who are promoting the Eat Right India initiative and supporting us in disseminating the message that is uniform. To address adulteration, as I told you, that there is a food safety van available, there are dart books, and we have food safety magic box for school children, where very simple 1-minute tests are available. Corresponding to these tests, we have videos also where you can learn how to check adulteration at home. Then we have initiatives like food fortification. To reduce micronutrient deficiencies, currently we have 5 fortified staples that are fortified with various micronutrients, and we have different products that are available in open market, and even fortified staples are available in safety net programs like ICDS, MDM, and PDS. And recently, on the occasion of 15th August, our Honorable Prime Minister announced that by 2024, only fortified rice, that is fortified with iron, folic acid, and vitamin B12, will be distributed in all the government schemes. So that is the thing we are promoting and we are supporting to reduce micronutrient deficiencies. Then there's an initiative called reduction of consumption of salt, sugar, fat, and it is called Thoda Aaj Se Thoda Kam campaign, where we are nudging not only consumers or the citizens to reduce their fat, sugar, and salt content, but we are also nudging the FBOs, the food business operators, to provide healthier options and to reformulate their products so that it has low fat, sugar, and salt. And also for trans fat, we are working with the food industry to reduce the trans fat by 2022. So food fortification, as I told you, that it is increase in the content of essential micronutrients to improve nutritional quality. It is safe, scientifically proven, affordable technique, and it is very easily integrated, because whatever you are consuming, the staple you are consuming, be it rice or wheat flour or any milk, oil, or salt, then you can easily integrate in your diet. There is no need to change, because the taste, color, appearance, or the cooking technique or storage is same. So you just need to switch your normal staple with fortified staple, which has an added benefit of additional micronutrients. So currently we have standards for double fortified salt, that is fortified with iron and iodine. Wheat flour and rice is fortified with iron, folic acid, and vitamin B12, and milk and oil is fortified with vitamin A and D. Recently, we have also released standards for processed foods, that are fortified cereal products and fortified bakery wares fortified with iron, folic acid, B12. Then we have fortified fruit juices fortified with vitamin C. How to identify fortified foods? Look for this +F logo, and there will be ingredient declaration that this product is fortified with which vitamin, and the nutritional information is there in the declaration. And all the fortified micronutrients added are of vegetarian source. So for sustainability, we have Jaivik Bharat, where we identify organic food by this logo. Then we have safe and sustainable packaging, and then repurpose use cooking oil. So prevent reuse of cooking oil. We are promoting repurpose. So there will be a kiosk kind of thing that will be established in different states, where you can go and give your reused oil, that is only used 2 times for cooking or for frying, then to the biodiesel ministry, and they will pay you back for that used cooking oil, because they will uh, form biodiesel from that oil. Then we have Safe Food Share Food initiative, an initiative to promote concept of food sharing. And we have networks also, very well established network in Ahmedabad and also in Delhi, where you can just have a speed dial call, and you can donate your food. They will collect it and give it to the needy. So how we work in networks, like we have a very, very strong network of NetProfan, and all students can join NetProfan, whether they are from any college, but they want to support this initiative as ambassadors. So as ambassadors, you can join the network, you can connect with the convener of your city chapter, and then work together in all the initiatives or any initiative you want to contribute to. So we have a very, very strong social behavioral campaigns with the various celebrities who have joined this initiative. You can download all these resource material from Eat Right India website. We have all the videos available. We have a dedicated video library. You can also download the videos, circulate. You can start circulating and follow social FSSAI's social media. You will get latest updates, latest information about food and how you can contribute. So Eat Right India, we are having a collaboration with all the ministries. We have also started with Eat Smart City Challenge, a competition to motivate smart cities to develop and execute healthy, safe, sustainable foods. We have also started Eat Right Challenge for cities and districts, where they are working towards making the city a better eat right place, where healthy, safe, and sustainable foods are given. So we are also doing various activities, various challenges like recipe contest. We are creating Eat Right Creativity Challenge for schools. So you can see that various for NetProfan also there are various challenges. We are asking for recipes that are healthy, that are oil free, or that has very low sugar content. So as students, you can participate in these challenges also, and also create a change. So at last, I would like to say that be a change leader in your community. You can make a real difference. So as students, your force, your support to this is very much important, and look forward to more people joining this initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enlightening and informative words about Eat Right India movement. Now, we are moving on to the awaited moment, most awaited moment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joshita Lambasani, ma'am. Since we're running out of time, we'll move to the valedictory session, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I now invite Niveta, second year MSc FSND, to deliver the overview of intercollegiate competition and take over the session.
Now we will move on to the much awaited moment, announcement of prize winners of intercollegiate competition NutriGuesto 2022. We were delighted to see the overwhelming response from the student community from more than 20 colleges who were actively participated in all the competitions. The list of competitions that were conducted as a part of NutriGuesto 2022 are e-posters, logo designing, and photography. We were happy to introduce our judges to the gathering. E-posters themed One Nation, One Food was judged by Dr. R. Arivichudar, Assistant Professor, Department of Nutrition and Dietetics, Periyar University.
Logo designing themed Our Planet, Our Health was judged by Dr. A. Rajeshwari, MSc RD, Senior Clinical Dietitian, Apollo Cancer Center. Photography themed Superfoods of Future Millets was judged by Aarti Satish, Yummy Tummy Aarti Vlogs, food blogger, social media influencer. We thank all the participants who enthusiastically participated in all the competition. Our organizing committee will contact all the prize winners regarding the distribution of certificates and memento. Now, I request Dr. Vijayavahini Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics, to announce the prize winner. Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon. We'll see the prize winners. E-logo competition. First prize was backed by R. Zagista Begum from Avinash Lingam, Institute of Home Science and Higher Education for Women. Congratulations. Second prize is backed by Gokul Krishnan, Bishop Iber College, Trichy, Gokula Krishnan. Third prize, A. Mushrad Begum from Mohammed Sadaq College of Arts and Science, Chennai. We'll go to the next competition, which is e-poster. And the first prize was won by Shweta SN from Etraj College for Women. Second prize is also won from the same college, Shri Vashini J from Etraj College for Women, Chennai. Third prize is backed by Fatima A from Bharadasan Government College for Women, Puducherry. We'll go to the next competition, which is photography. First prize was won by Kavita R from Etraj College for Women. And second prize was won by Shakshi Piachar from Stella Maris College for Women, Chennai. And third prize was won by Lydia Benita Jembavati from Women's Christian College, Chennai. I congratulate all the prize winners and special mention to all the participants. All our association committee will contact you in person about distribution of certificates and the trophies. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. I congratulate all the winners. Now, I request Dr. Vijayavahini ma'am, Assistant Professor, Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics, to deliver the oath of thanks.
Very good afternoon to everyone. Am I audible? Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is a completion of thankfulness, said Henry Friedrich Emil. First and foremost, I'm indebted to God Almighty for showering His choicest blessing and being a source of divine light in all our endeavors. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. We are grateful and thankful to management and Honorable Madam Principal Dr. R. Geeta, Madam Vice Principal Day Dr. M.S. Lekha, Madam Vice Principal Dr. S. Sita Lakshmi Self-Support, and Dr. Mahisha Suramardini, Vice Principal SFS 1, for encouraging and supporting us to organize one-day national level webinar on our blueprint to achieve good health and well-being in association with Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, a network of professionals of food and nutrition, Chennai chapter. I, on behalf of PG Department of Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics of Srimati Devkunma Nananal Bhatt Vaishnav College for Women, I am grateful to owe my deepest gratitude to our chief guest, Mr. P. Muthumaran, Director FSSI, and other eminent speakers of the day, Dr. Usha Antony Ma'am, Dean of College of Fish Nutrition and Food Technology, Dr. J. Jayalalitha, Fisheries University, Tamil Nadu, Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj Ma'am, Dietitian, Tamil Nadu Government Multi-Super Specialty Hospital and Network and Convener, Chennai Chapter, and Dr. Joshita Lambasani, Deputy Lead Fortification Division, FSSI. Thank you, ma'am, for taking out time to grace the event. Indeed, we are honored by your presence and all his sessions were really informative and interesting. A special mention to Dr. Meenakshi Bajaj ma'am, without whom this webinar is not possible. Thank you so much, ma'am, for roping in all the speakers and guiding us to organize national level webinar in every possible way. We are indeed happy to share that we have received registration all over India and more than 25 colleges have actively participated in the webinar. I would also like to place on record my sincere thanks to all the participants, research scholars and teaching faculty from other colleges who have attended the webinar even in the busy schedule. I'm fortunate enough to be backed up by a team of dedicated staffs And I thank Dr. Rena Agarwal, Head in Charge, and Ms. Subhashini and Ms. Bharatnam for the valuable support extended to make this program a successful one. I also thank all the staffs of SDN Vaishnav College for Women and staffs of Department of Home Science for the valuable support rendered for smooth conduct of the webinar. Last but not least, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation and big thanks to our non-teaching staffs of Department of Home Science for their cooperation and hard work. And I would also like to place on record special thanks to ESRM staffs for the technical help and guidance, and special mention to Mr. Satya, Mrs. Chitra, Ms. Jansi, and Ms. Vijay Priya. Last but not least, I thank all my beloved students who are my pillar of strength and for their hard work and sincerity. Thank you very much, girls. Without you people, the webinar is not possible. Once again, I thank each and everyone associated with the webinar. We thank you all for being with us this afternoon. Thank you. And we have also posted the feedback link of the webinar. You can fill the webinar and you can receive the certificate. All the participants are requested. All the participants are requested to fill the feedback link so that you will receive your certificate. Thank you.
And knowledgeable webinar. We promises you all that in the next year, we will enter in the fields with some more innovative ideas to nourish your mind. On behalf of PG Department of Home Science, Food Science, Nutrition and Dietetics, I promise you that this may be the end of today's session, but undoubtedly, this is a new beginning. Thank you. Thank you so much, one and all.
Thank you. Hope everybody has copied the link for the certificate. Where is the link? The link is shared in chat session, feedback link. You can all fill the link and you will get the certificate. Okay, we will post the link again. Participants, if you have any query, you can post it in the chat box. We have posted the link again. If first link is filled, you can try in the second link. Please wait. We'll post it to everybody. Please wait. I hope the link is visible to everybody. We'll post another link also. We have posted both the link. Both the link are same, ma. You can use any one link. If the link is filled, you can use the second link to get the certificate. The participants and the other competition winners, we will get back to you. We have all your contact number and email ID. We'll mail your certificates and also trophies to your home address. The participants and the prize winners or competition, don't worry. The organizing committee will get back to you and we'll mail you the certificates and also send the trophy to your address after receiving from you. Any other queries? Can we wind up the session? Hope everybody has filled the link. Thank you so much for actively participating. We are winding up the session. Question